town as well, is how people look to you, how people sound to you, the clothes they wear, the curses they might use, because ultimately, those are excuses. If you don't want to go out and stand beside a protest, that's for the betterment of your town, because you don't like the way some people might sound on a mic or on a recording. That's an excuse. We need to be done with excuses. I'm not here to sell a political party. I have no interest in politics. I have no interest in running. I'm not here to sell you any sort of lies. I'm not here to hide any truth from me. All I'm doing is standing here concerned as a man of Clonmel who has largely female relatives in the town, and I understand what's coming. You can see it across the country. Chaos. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say around this. If there's any questions, please feel free, because I think it's more, all of us have something good to say, is I don't care about political affiliations. I only got interested or educated myself on the right wing, left wing. I talk because I see the truth in what I say, and I am filled with hate, as people have been saying. I hate bullies. I hate people standing on the side. If it's a working class person and you don't like the draw of them, irrelevant. If you're using that as a reason not to get involved, that's an excuse. And look at yourself while you're making that excuse. Okay? So if you've had the balls and you've had the bottle to come here tonight, I applaud you for that, because you have. Lovely stuff. And I understand that where the location is not the most palatable for some people. I don't think there's anyone up there that wants to spend their time hanging around the end of the ball side. But the greater good, famous words, is our town is in jeopardy here. There's children that are growing up here and they're going to feel safe, they're going to feel unsafe most days. And the sad thing about that is they're not going to know any different if we allow this to be normalised in this town. They're going to grow up terrified and they're going to see that as the normal way of being. So even if not physically happens to them, their minds are destroyed, their nervous systems are destroyed. Okay? So we do literally have a generation to save here, and there's no one coming to save. And what we also need to do is not be afraid of being arrested. We need to call them out, we need to tell them no more. This is our town, this is our Ireland, this is our Ireland.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet. But Ireland's always been impressed forever, for as long as history's been going on, and we're being impressed now in a different way. And I was going to say, well, I can't remember because this is an area, this is an area. It belongs to us and doesn't belong to these refugees. It's an invasion now in every single town and village in the country. And it's been facilitated by the government, who are supposed to look after us, and even the military facilitated now. They're supposed to be looking after us, and they're looking after all of them. You want to say talk about being racist, this and that, yeah? Like, the first slaves that the British got over in America, the first few patches were Irish, not black, by the way, anyway. And we've always been impressed. We've always been impressed. We're being impressed right now, so the only way to do it, to fix things now, is to leave the EU. We're not European, we're Irish. And yeah, this is era, we're not European. We need to bring this to the TVs now. We bring their shape on. We need to bring this to era.
I tell you. I fucking tell you.
Did you turn up? Would anybody else like to say?
I want to speak to you outside, but.
Would anybody else like to say anything?
Me?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
We come down from fucking Mill Stand, fucking how you boys out. You say that about the boys at the top of the fucking hill. You're a fucking disgrace.
Oh no, he didn't mean it in that way. The people at the top of the hill have been helping us, and we have worked with them. Okay, go out and deal with your trigger. Don't.
Listen, hold on now, I want to say something now myself. This is bullshit. People like Clonmel, local people handle this. Not any outsiders. People from Clonmel.
Absolutely.
No, hold on. This isn't about money or anything. This is crazy. Everyone's arguing bigger and scared to say it too. This is about safety of our kids and women, not against.
100%.
There's bullshit that the people have done. We're being paid for everything. No, it's only women and kids. This is what this is about. I want to know who's going to be held accountable when someone's running out that bypass where everyone uses and someone gets stabbed to a fucking grave. What TV's going to come forward for? They don't even acknowledge that.
What is happening is there are towns are getting organised, lads.
Well, look, what
And they're
is
getting
happening is
organised.
locals need to sort their own place out.
Absolutely, that's what I'm
That's what
talking
needs to
about.
happen here. The locals need to stick together and keep themselves. And everyone else needs to sort their own town out.
We appreciate people coming in, but this evening tonight is about Clonmel. And whether you like it or not, we are clan folk. And what the people in the Halton side, the travellers that we have been working with and the family that we have been working with have been nothing but respectful and absolutely fantastic. They were the ones that brought us and this goes with judgment as well. There are some people in this room that I don't get on with, but you put it to the side. Because it's far more fucking important that my son has a future here and doesn't have to go off to another country to be an immigrant than it is for me to have a grudge beside somebody beside me.
I just say one thing. We went to Tullamore one night from Rossray to protest outside the individual's house that was buying all the properties from Rossray. And the guard's tent was in Tullamore. We're so used to them by now, we actually couldn't give a shit anymore. And you know what they said? And what they're actually waiting for is, Tullamore is the safest town in Ireland at the moment because of Aisling Murphy. So are we waiting for another murder, another rape? Are we waiting for something to happen to our children? Because Tullamore apparently is the safest town in Ireland at the moment. And I'm sorry, but I would happily go to chemotherapy, radiotherapy, -7, soft pass, and I would stand with people of Clonmel, even though you're some tip and I'm not tip, I would happily stand outside for a fucking side.
We all need to stand together, but we also need to understand that emotions will get involved and we need to have our own self-control. We have to. Is there anybody else that would like to speak? Anybody from Clonmel here that would really like to speak?
I think you need locals to speak up.
Yes, that's what I want. And no offense to the lads that have come down. We all need to unite together, yes, but this is a town effort as well, and we have outside support.
People from Sligo, we're from the north, we're not going to do this by ourselves. We took IMP, we need...
Are you Mr. Buckley? This is Mr. Buckley who's on Tip FM. And Mr. Buckley does not agree with this, but this is an open debate.
At least he came forward. Fair play.
At least he came forward to have a speak, to say something.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I come in here tonight to listen. I think that's one of the most important things all of us can do is listen to each other. And I would have to say I've lived in Clonmel here for 35 years. 40 years actually, 40 years. And I have had kids grow up here. And long before immigrants arrived here in this town, I had my own child and 3 of my neighbours' children who were attacked downtown when they were out during the night. This is long before immigrants arrived. I have taught in the Presentation Secondary School. I have worked with refugees. I've worked with disadvantaged groups all my life. All my life. And I hear what people are saying. There is a definite grievance of a feeling of being alienated and not being listened to.
It's not alienation, it's safety for kids. What are the old fucking mates?
Sorry.
Let him speak.
I would have to say, for instance, I heard one of the speakers tonight say, you know, it's all men coming here. Well,
Statistically, it's mostly men.
You go to any school, and I have a son-in-law teaching in a school where they have a huge number of migrants, and they're all girls. So I'm just thinking of my granduncle who immigrated to Scotland, picking potatoes. And he sent money back, and there isn't a person here in this room, if you go far enough back in your ancestry, where we hadn't to immigrate to other countries. And very... listening to each other.
Okay, you do want to
Let the
listen.
man speak. Let the man
Let
speak.
the man speak.
Yeah. And, you know, those men, particularly from the west of Ireland, kept families alive back here, just to get up of money coming back. And we did not like when the English said, no blacks, no Irish wanted here.
Or no dogs.
Or no dogs, yeah. So we, as Irish people, we have had that experience. And the only worry I have is when you create a culture of us and them, dialogue ends. I asked a good few people here tonight to come in and sit and listen and so on, and they said, no, we're afraid. And I'll tell you something, I'm used to speaking in public. No problem. I've done it all my life. And I've been in high-tense situations. But I tell you, I thought long and hard before opening my mouth tonight. Because I felt there was a camera constantly in my face, or in people's faces, but also, I don't like the us and them because I have worked with refugees. They are human like us. I know one school right now has 5 refugees doing the leaving cert.
What's the difference between a refugee and an asylum?
Yeah.
I just want to say, can I say now, you've said enough.
Okay.
I too have run a school for 6 years and worked with integration. I had kids from Congo, from Nigeria, from the Philippines, from all over. This was back in the early 2000s. Where you are living within the immigration is in the past. Right now, immigration and that title has a very different description. And when you check out the IPAS numbers and statistically where they're coming from, the majority are males. On a mathematical scale, not on an emotional scale, they are males. The majority are males that are coming in. The majority that are coming in the buses are males. The people that were brought into Rossgate Grade were children with male supervisors bringing them into Rest Grade. Where did those children go? Because they have been moved, and now you've heard it from the mouth of a woman who got the foot of a policeman while she's going through chemotherapy and being called a Nazi in order to put fear in your heart and fear in the hearts of people like you who have good, compassionate souls but are being manipulated because you are living in the past. In the 2000s, when I ran that hip-hop school, it was the most beautiful thing I'd seen when it came to integration and culture and all of us coming in. It was great. And those children who are now in their 30s have still got respect for me. Nor do any of the Nigerians or the Congos come and call me racist because they too are worried for their children. I worked with a group of refugee women who were being raped and pillaged in their own countries and were brought over to the Netherlands. I was doing a production of the Vagina Monologues. But I had to speak to these women to get their experiences so I could get out on stage and re-communicate that emotion of what happened to them. And the number one thing that came out of all those women's mouths were, the men coming over in boats now are not my brother or my father. The men coming over in boats are the men who did that to me.
The time is passing on now, so I just want to take a few more when we wind it up, okay?
Yeah, we wind it up. And I do appreciate you coming, and I understand where you're coming from, but you're coming from 2003. They are in 20.
Oh, I know where that man is coming from, but he's talking, to tell you the truth, what he's on about is complete rubbish. Because I fucking emigrated myself, right? Back in 82, 83. And I tell you this, right? And you can listen to me on this now. Because I had nothing, right? I had a wife and child here. I went over for a couple of weeks to see could I get them over, right? But I can tell you one thing, right? When I went to London, I was not built a fucking modular home. I wasn't put into a hotel, right? I wasn't put into a hotel, right? I brought 3 of my kids up for 3 years in London inside one double room. And only for that, and that was down to a Limerick woman, yeah? So what you're saying there, we all immigrated. There's probably people here that their mothers and fathers immigrated as well. But they worked. They worked. They worked for what they got. They didn't get it handed to them. They didn't get it handed to them. And that's what?
Mention the 3 Syrians that to stop from breaking into my house.
Well, exactly, yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I've heard this on the radio many times, right? About, oh, the Irish emigrated, everyone else emigrated. Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not joking you. I was over for 2 weeks working, right? I stood in Cricklewood Broadway, right? I stood in Cricklewood Broadway. I went out for £40 a day. And while my wife and child was with me, I was paying B&B, right? I couldn't get into a place there because you'd be as well off to have a dog as a child. Because if they put you in there, they couldn't get you out of there with the child. And that was it. And as I said, I was a Limerick woman, a Newcastle West woman. I actually was sending my wife back. I just couldn't afford to do it anymore. And I was standing at a window in Cricklewood Broadway, looking at accommodation, and this chap was standing beside me. He said, "Are you looking for a room?" I said, "I am." But I said, "My wife and child are with me." And we had my maid's car, and it was full of suitcases, ready to go back to Victoria to send my wife and child back, right? And he said, "I know a woman," he said, "she'll take you in." And I brought 3 of my kids up in that house with a load of other lads, lovely lads, Irish lads, for 3 years before I got a place in London. So, what you're on about there with your immigration and a whole lot, I agree with you, we all did immigrate, but we worked. We didn't get nothing handed to us for that. We didn't walk down to the social. I can tell you this now, and this is as sure as I'm standing here, right? I was over in Benidorm last year, right? On holidays with my daughter. I met a Dublin car salesman, right, that was able to tell me that he's taken checks off the social welfare, 9,000-10,000 euro checks. He said, "As sure as I'm having this pint with you," he said, "they're coming in with social welfare checks," he said, "to give them cars." So, what's going on in Ireland here now is completely fucking different to what we done when we went to London. We got nothing. Thank you very much, sir.
We were going to wrap it up now, lads, because I have to get home. My babysitter.
Sorry, it's all around to go home.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I'm from Canara. You have a lot of things going on that you can't even see for yourselves. They're trying to bring, hate speech and all the rest of them. I want to go into that, right? But all this hate speech comes through. There's petitions all over to get it done. They're not working. We need to get 100,000 people up to the Dáil and conform a general election for the public. It's the only way to stop the whole lot is in your account. That's a fact. Well, money.
Yeah, you're right.
Just money.
As many as possible.
I don't know.
Wrap up.
No, we're going to finish up now. I really want to thank everybody for coming, and those of you that have still managed to stay here, please keep in touch through the Facebook group, Concerned Parents. We will try and have a march through town to show numbers within the next coming weeks, and we'll announce that if you can just spread the word. I'm exceptionally grateful to everybody, no matter what your opinion, who came here and discussed tonight. Thank you, everybody. Have a safe journey home.
You guys spoke to the Howland on Facebook. They asked him for an example. Where has this worked?
Who's that? I don't know.
Yeah.